Welcome to another exciting episode of the IsaacBoyz podcast. Dwayne the Ghost, alongside Terrorizing. Coming at you guys with episode 104.
104.
Episode 104.
The long-awaited episode 104.
We've been on unfortunately another unexpected hiatus. We've recording the podcast has not been the easiest thing to do this past month.
This past month, yeah.
And it's for a number of reasons. So because of that announcement, we're gonna kick off with a bunch of announcements apparently. But we are gonna be moving our release date to Thursdays, as you can see,
Instead of Mondays.
So it seemed that Thursdays may be the better way to start going with our podcast. So we are gonna start rolling from there. Well, from here on out on Thursdays, and see how that goes. So for those of you that usually expect it on Mondays, apologize in advance, but this is a good move to hopefully keep
Get some regularity going.
get some more regularity back into the podcast. So yeah, there is that. But yeah, as per usual, coming off another hot week.
But yeah, I mean,
we did run into some hiccups.
Yeah, in terms of our hiatus, we've had a lot of different issues here and there. Challenges. One major one being our grandmother, who is not doing too well. I'm not really going to go into too many details on this platform, but keeping her in our prayers and hoping everything works out.
Yep.
And so we had to do some traveling for that.
Which ended up yielding, other family members going into the hospital and things like that. So it's been a bit of a whirlwind dealing with all that stuff, and then other work stuff and different things. So we've been not just out of the office, the lounge, but out of the right mental space and stuff like that. So it's been a bit of a challenge, to say the least, but we're definitely back and glad to be back. Podcast is definitely one of those things that keeps, kind of keeps like a timeline stamp, kind of keeps us, kind of a way for us to kind of document, this whole journey that we're on, this whole progression. So seeing from where we started to where we are now, I know there's a lot more to go, so we want to keep this going and for as long as possible. So a little challenge there as well, but
yep, some audio challenges because apparently someone's alarm is going off. It might not come up with the mics that much, but whatever.
Yeah, we can have it. But yeah, outside of that, somber news. A bit more of exciting news. The lounge continued to progress and to get better. We made some new improvements recently, which is kind of good. Some internal stuff and some visual stuff.
Yeah.
I got a new Pikachu charging station, which was an idea we had
a long time ago.
From almost the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
We had this idea of doing a Pikachu charging station, which what we have now, I think, is the first iteration of it, because it's still better.
There's still some improvements we could make on it, and
things we want to do with it.
Planning on making with it.
But outside of that, I think it's pretty dope. Everyone seems to like it.
Yep.
Now you have a place in the lounge where you can charge your devices.
Yeah.
And it's it's kind of a brainchild of ours. So it's not just like a thing that we bought as just this one Pikachu charging.
We actually
it's a couple of things that we kind of put together.
Parts that we kind of put together, and it's kind of cool.
It's cool. I like it.
People like it.
Everybody likes it. So.
And it's not even done yet. Still got more cool things to add to it.
Make it even cooler.
Looking forward to it.
But that's dope. We also set up a new, business relationship, if you will.
Yeah, we got a new
account.
New account set up that helps us with a lot of things that we do here at the lounge.
Mm-hmm.
It's a new account that we have set up to help not only with our figures that we bring in, our anime collectibles and video game collectibles and stuff like that. Yu-Gi-Oh cards helps us with all that stuff. But they also would can help us, has the potential to help us with something that's been kind of near and dear to our heart that we've been trying to work on and trying to
put together, and
still a long way off, but we're still working on it.
But we're making some good headway, though.
Some good headway.
And of course, we're referring to the big kind of event, kind of a con.
Yeah. I want to do like a Virgin Islands Con type event.
Yeah. Like an anime/video game con.
Mm-hmm.
Where, you can have, a bunch of cosplayers, a bunch of different attractions, like, like voice actors or people in the space.
People in the industry.
Or actors or, artists. People in the industry that's, surrounding nerd culture. Kind of an event, obviously, based on nerd culture,
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a way to, attract all the
like minds together.
Like minds, yeah. But we are making some headway with that. But to get back to your point, of course, this DuoCon could definitely help us with some of those things. Because not just the collectibles side, but also with some of the relationships that we could probably establish to bring in some of those voice actors and some of those
people that are in the anime industry, or
which we are thinking of doing some smaller kind of meet and greets before we get off the full con.
Before we do the full con, we're gonna test the waters with a few things first, see how those go. It actually, we would start with, I guess, our next tournament. Our next tournament should be bigger than our other tournaments, and that would kind of be a start, I would say,
for our bigger events. Yeah.
For our bigger events, because it's not gonna be like huge, but it's gonna be there's certain behind the scene things that are in the works that once this goes off without a hitch, and then it would set up the right type of relationships to do the bigger events like the cons and stuff like that. And
our next tournament, we were putting a little bit more thought and effort into it to try to get it, a step above what we've done in the past.
Correct.
So, fingers crossed, because we're still waiting on a couple of things to come through.
We're waiting on a lot of things. The most annoying thing is just playing the waiting game with literally everything and everybody. I don't know if it's a Virgin Islands thing or it's just, there's many people that complain about that here, but it's just annoying just waiting.
But then again, considering it's not just here, we're waiting for some people off island too as well to, let us know, yay or nay kind of
where we stand on certain things, and it's so annoying.
Yeah, I guess it's because of the size of our business. Maybe we're not big enough.
Yeah, people are just like, should we take these guys serious? And they're kind of like dragging their feet on it. Like, should we study these guys? And I get it.
It's business, you gotta try to put your best foot forward. And sometimes it works. Sometimes people, don't take you as seriously as you would like to be taken seriously. But it's all part of the experience.
We just gotta earn our clout, I guess.
Yeah. Which I think we're doing, albeit slowly.
Slowly but surely. And I think, with the things that we have coming on pretty soon, it's gonna start, because then people will be like, okay, they were able to do this, and okay, I like what they did with this, let's see, But yeah, definitely looking forward to a lot of things in the future. Like the future is so bright for VIVN. I don't know if we did talk about recent hiring. I think we did that. That was like our last podcast, or was that? Did we even mention that in our last podcast?
I don't think we did.
Well, we've mentioned it in the past about
expanding the team and bringing on people, but we are, making some more headways with that too as well. And again, waiting for one thing to come through, and then once that comes through, and then establish some other things, then we can definitely bring on someone, at least at a part-time basis, to hold down things here at the lounge, so we can get a lot of things outside of just the lounge stuff done. Because there's a lot of other VIVN stuff that we need to take care of.
A lot of
which the lounge takes up a lot of our time and effort.
It does.
But it's not a bad thing. This is
this is the baby, and this is the catalyst of everything to come. So
yep.
So we're right now in the process of establishing relationships with different, not just companies but people. Even today, people came in today that was interested in doing some kind of collaborative something. So there's still some talks to go down there, still more negotiations and stuff. So all in all, man, this train keeps moving.
This train continues to chug along.
Every podcast we beat the same drum, but It is what it is. It's a good place to be, you know, where this is something that we built from the ground up, you know what I mean? This is something that, you know, without us coming together and doing this, you know, it makes you wonder what would
we doing?
What would we do with our time right now? And not only that, but there's a lot of people that come here and that like enjoy what we do, and what would they be doing with their time? Because like I feel like we're just such a big part of some certain people's life. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like
the lounge has become a second home to a lot of people.
A lot of people.
And thinking of those people, you know, not having the lounge is like, and it's not just the people are saying like, you know, I don't know what we would be doing, you know, if you guys didn't, you know, exist, or if you guys didn't have this. So we definitely play a major role in a lot of people's lives, whether intentionally or unintentionally. Yep. But it's definitely humbling.
It's an interesting responsibility. Yeah. You know, it's like, you know, we didn't set out to be role models, but I guess in some ways we kind of are.
We kind of slowly became that, but not only that, but we were like, you know, we're bringing people together that otherwise would have not ever met, you know, or come together. So people have, you know, started relationships out of the lounge.
Yeah, and it looks like there's some more of that going on as well too. Yeah, there's some.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going
on. The lounge in itself is its own soap opera, and it's funny to me.
Yep.
It's so funny to me. There's so much going on.
I don't want to say drama, but
it's not drama. It's not drama.
It's just, you know,
everybody's chill.
It's just like a soap opera.
It's like a soap opera though.
Like a, you know, I don't know. It's like a sitcom almost.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's a good life. I rather enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing all the ins and outs and the relationships being developed, and you know, it's fun. The competition too, like, you know, people.
Yeah. Yep. Cause it's weird because, you know, because of, you know, the lounge and its video games and stuff like that, you know, you're obviously gonna have, you know, more guys than girls, but, you know, now more girls are starting to come around, and, you know,
once more girls come around, more guys start to come around.
Yep, pretty much. So it's like, you know, once the girls start to come out, then all right, now you have guys, you know, jockeying for positioning,
seeing the whole, you know, guys being territorial, seeing, you know, how they navigate this and how personalities change when certain people are around versus when they're not.
Yep. It's interesting, but it's cool, you know. It's and I mean, and as much as it, you know, we definitely stay out of all of that. Like we don't throw any advice or input anyway. It's just let them be, you know. Yep. But I kind of feel like I don't know, maybe no. Let's stay out. Never mind. I'm gonna backtrack.
We're the audience.
Because pretty much.
We're the audience. Everyone else is, you know. The actors,
like, you know, because we could definitely offer more advice to certain people in that respect, but it's like,
live and learn, man.
Live and learn.
Who's to say our advice is good advice, you know?
That's true too. But at the same time, you know, it's like, you know, there's certain people that look up to the consider us friends, and I'm like, maybe we should, you know, have more of a, but whatever. It's none of our business, right?
Neither here nor there. It is what it is.
It just is what it is. But it's fun and it's funny.
Definitely entertaining. Good to see. Other, you know, distractions that I've been dealing with is, of course, I think I mentioned in the last podcast about the redoing of my living room, which is underway, still going on, and it's very involved. I knew it was gonna be a pretty big undertaking. But just seeing the whole thing, you know, taking place, it's like, you know, kind of an eye opener. Like, oh, my living room will never be the same. Mm-hmm. A space that, you know, you spend so much time in is like, it's never gonna be like that again.
Yeah, like there's a lot of people that, you know, from the past, you know, that probably listen to this podcast, that have been in that living room many times, many sleepovers in that living room. You know, it's just not the same anymore. That's a piece of our history that's gone now. I mean, we probably make him a bigger deal than we.
You're saying that, but I actually, like, before I left to come here at the lounge today, I took some time. I looked at the living room and I actually had that thought. I was like, wow, like this space will never look the same again. Mm-hmm. Like, and things happened. Like this, you know, the construction just kind of started, so I didn't really get a chance to like really like take in, like, you know, that this is the last time I'm gonna see the living room the way it is. And now that it's not like that, it's like, huh. I didn't think I'd have that reaction, you know, to it, but it is what it is. I'm actually excited about, you know, the finished product, because it's gonna be obviously some upgrades I needed to, you know, some not really upgrades, but some repairs that need to be done are getting done for sure, and that's gonna be good. And then, it's gonna be more modern and everything. So it's gonna be cool.
Making space for babies.
Making space for the baby. So, which is also another big undertaking, of course. Baby's on the way. We're winding down. Actually, it's coming up really close now.
Yep, T minus.
The baby's due in September, so we're in August now. So it's almost there. So it can literally come anytime now.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. Shout out to everyone that has sent messages or gifts and all that stuff. Appreciate all of you guys. We've been getting a ton of stuff, ton of interesting. We've been getting stuff and we're getting stuff stolen.
Oh yeah, that's
a whole other story there. But apparently, someone got us something off our registry, and they ordered it, and it came
through the mail.
When I went to go pick it up, the box wasn't in the best of shape. So I was like, okay, something's definitely up, and it was just completely covered in USPS tape. So obviously, it's been
somebody from USPS
damaged or altered or whatever. Open the box. It's literally pieces of presswood in the box. Nothing what it was supposed to be. So apparently somebody from USPS maybe fell on tough times. Obviously has a kid that they were like, damn, my kid can use this item. So hey, and that being the case, as much as I hate the fact that this happened to me,
if they need it more than you, might as well have it, right?
Apparently they needed it more than I did.
It's weird because there's so many, I don't know. People are so, I don't know. I can't imagine in this day and age, people still think they can get away with it, because they're definitely not going to get away with it. They're definitely going to get caught if they haven't already, and they're definitely going to get fired. You know what I mean? So it's like,
was it really worth it?
Was it really worth it for that item? Like, there's so many other items that are much more high valued that go through the mail.
Which kind of breaks my heart a little bit, because it's like, lets you know the mental space of certain people. Like if you're gonna do that for that means you probably don't have anything.
There's that.
And you're obviously you have a kid, fairly young one at that, and you're like, I want my kid to have nice things. So there. So for that regard, I sympathize with whoever did it.
To my knowledge, the postal service pays well, but I guess maybe they just started. I don't know. I just don't see it. Like you have to know you're not gonna get away with it. There's no like. This is a weird story, but there was a time something came through the mail that wasn't our mail, but it was like, oh, maybe we could probably benefit from this. I don't know. When we opened it and we saw that, we just kind of put it off to the side and just kind of forgot about it. They didn't really open it or anything.
Nope.
Put it off to the side. Within a week. Within that week, I went to go pick up mail, and they were like, well, there's a mail that arrived at this address that doesn't belong to you guys. So until you bring it back, you can't receive your mail.
There you go.
And I was like, huh.
You can have it.
You can have it. Because it wasn't even open or anything. We just received the mail. Because what was kind of confusing about it was stuff that we could use for the lounge. So I wasn't sure if
ordered it or if accidentally
when we ordered something, like one of the things that we usually do get for the lounge, that somebody sent us a gift kind of thing. So I was like a little confused about it, because it was definitely our PO box was on there, which was kind of strange, but it wasn't ours, and the right thing to do was to just bring it back, but we wasn't sure, so we just left it off on the side. It's not like we stole it, opened it, and put it to use right away. It was just like we just had the package unopened, just sitting in the lounge, because usually when I get the boxes, I just bring them all up to the lounge, and then I open them at the lounge. So when we noticed it, we just kind of, I wasn't in the mood to walk all the way back, so I just chucked it on the side.
Yeah.
And literally within days, they were like,
it's a good thing too, because if we actually opened it, there would be
we'd be in deep shit. We would be, and it would look bad, obviously. But again, that should be like, okay, if they're willing, like if the postal service is at the stage where they can track that, you know what I mean? That person's not gonna get away with it. But I think you have to you made a report, right?
We made a report with Amazon, We have yet to go to the post office, which probably gonna do this week for sure.
Yeah, I think that's what you have to do for.
Yeah.
Because then
we are gonna do for definitely.
Because then they're gonna be like they're gonna backtrack it like, okay, which spots it was,
what happened when, kind of a thing.
They can do an investigation. But yeah, I there's no way they're gonna get away with that, and it's like, you have to know that you're not gonna get away with that. Obviously, it has to be on camera somewhere. So it's like, anyway, like you said, the mentality of certain people to even attempt that for that, it's like kind of shows you where people are.
Yeah.
But
kind of sucks, but it is what it is. But yeah, again, shout out to everyone that's contributing to this kid. It's a bit interesting, considering yourself a father. I mean, I always thought I would, but I guess it's becoming more and more real every day. So
yeah, it gets
there's that.
It gets more and more interesting. I'll say that. It definitely does, because it's like, growing up, you always thought you'd be, and you always kind of have that in the back of your mind. But like, when it's actually a thing, and it's like it's a for real thing, it's kind of it can be overwhelming at times, in terms of like, oh wow, this is a new sense of responsibility, and that's why some people sometimes avoid it. But obviously, I mean, it goes without saying, the reward you get is tenfold. Is like, you're gonna feel emotions you've never felt before, obviously. And I know that's the cliche and corny thing to say, but it's 100% true. The you that you were prior to, I'm not saying it's gone forever or will never be, but there's definitely going to be a new you moving forward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And sometimes that could be a little intimidating, like, what to expect and all that kind of stuff, but I think you got it. And you got a good support team, so.
Yeah. Fun times.
Looking forward to it.
Fun times, yep. So am I.
Babies change they just change, everything.
Change my living room.
That's for sure. But yeah, it's all the updates and lounge updates and life updates.
For the most part, I don't think we're missing anything for the most part. But yeah,
besides
all the fun stuff,
the usual new people.
Yeah, outside all the new people coming through and all that good stuff. Selling a bunch of figures, like we sell figures like
we're almost selling toys like daily now. This week was definitely daily.
This week was daily.
So I'm interested to see how it's going to be moving forward. Like, if it's going to continue this trend.
It's been going that way, and some days multiple like big ticket items are going on. We got some big ticket items now. In the
we did start bringing in some bigger ticket items, and
people loving them.
People loving them too. So
we're just supplying the island with the good stuff. So it's gonna keep.
Yeah, it's literally, you can't get it from anywhere. You can't get it anywhere else. And now that we just have that new account set up, it's gonna be even better. I wish we had it set up before, but now, like, moving forward, it's gonna be 10 times better than what it was. Like we're to the point where we could almost open up a store just based on that alone. Like, we have the ability to do that now. Even though we have like a small space for our collectibles and stuff, we could definitely expand on that space and make it like we could definitely do a full-fledged store. I mean, we're not going to, but that's it. We're not going to. You never know. Never say never. But
there are some more upgrades we could do to the lounge that could help us house more and more things, which we are gonna need to do soon. The way things are going, so.
Because once we start doing those things, then we can start bringing in more things, and we have the ability to not just bring in figures, but anything anime, in terms of
more merch, like
merchandise, like memorabilia,
bags, memorabilia,
even clothing, which I don't want to do, but there's definitely a space for it. People want it, and I know it would do well. It's just managing the inventory is what I really don't want to deal with. Yeah, because it's clothes, there's different sizes, and
I mean, we could do it kind of like how most of those major retailers do. Just have the images of the shirts, and just gotta maybe house the actual inventory in the back somewhere here, and we'll say, oh yeah, like I want that shirt. Do you have that shirt in this size? And pop in the back and see.
Because we do have access to clothes as well, so maybe we'll do that too. I don't know. I think people would love it. I think people would definitely appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people would definitely buy it.
Yep. Which, if we do well, probably more off-air stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
if we do that, we can probably move the shirts that we currently have there. Can move them back here and use those cubbies for something else.
Use those covers for something else facing which direction?
The same direction it is. It could just be to, I don't know. That's
off-air stuff. Yeah.
That's off-air stuff. Thinking out loud here, but yeah, all that good stuff. Outside of that, we have been, there's been a lot of major releases these past couple of weeks. A lot of games that we've been playing as well.
Mm-hmm.
First and foremost, I guess we'll touch on DNF Duel, which
DNF Duel.
I think the last episode we did, it was about to come out, or maybe it just came out.
Mm-hmm.
But DNF Duel has been out now. It's
and I've been playing it a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
Because initially, like you've heard our take on it here.
Mm-hmm.
When the beta came out, both betas, we didn't really care for it too much.
Didn't.
And I didn't see it changing much when the game would be released, but that changed.
As the game released and we started playing it and started diving into it, we got the bug for a little bit there.
Yeah.
We got the bug pretty seriously.
Pretty solid there. It was played pretty regularly here in the lounge.
Mm-hmm. And we do have some people that also play as well. We have people that come to the lounge. Have a little chat going. That whenever they're online, they kind of group up, party up, and play some DNF Duel. Which, for those that are unaware, of course, that 2D fighting game by Arc System Works.
Mm-hmm.
Same makers of Guilty Gear. Which same art style.
Mm-hmm. It's got that anime look to it.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like you're playing a cartoon almost.
Pretty much. Visually, game is stunning.
It's over the top. It has all the anime over the top action that you if you're into anime you would like to see.
Mm-hmm.
One thing about the game is that all characters are pretty much overpowered.
Yeah, and I think
that's the real balance.
They just went into this game like we're gonna make everyone broken, and that makes it balanced. Because there is just some broken characters, broken things in this game that's just like hard to deal with. But at the same time, if you get good, you can do some pretty broken stuff yourself, depending on your character. So,
and I think a lot of the really broken stuff, like the infinite combo and stuff, I think those are all been patched out at this point. But initially, there were some infinite combos and stuff. Like two or three characters had infinite combos, which is interesting. Yeah, definitely feeling the game now. Since the game has been out, it's been out for a while. We did go for a stretch where we were playing it for a while. And I still would say I play it. Yeah. Not as often as I did initially. Because, again, there's
so much to be played.
So much games to play and so little time to play them.
Yeah. But I do rather enjoy the game. And, finding certain characters that, fit your play style. I still consider myself halfway decent in the game. I think I can beat most, if not all, casuals. It's just, when people get a little bit hardcore, it's like a little bit more hard to beat, but I'm fairly versed in the game.
Yeah, I think
it's got to put more hours in. I think I'd be.
Yeah, it's like any fighting game. It's one of those things where you got to get the practice in, and because initially when I started playing, I was like, I didn't like the grappler. I was like, he didn't feel like a grappling character for me. Like when I play a grappling character, I expect the big bad grappler that just needs to get close once and big damage. And I didn't feel he did that. And then when I started getting more into his nuance, he kind of does do that now. But he just does it in different ways. Mm-hmm. He doesn't do. I mean, he does have a big, big grapple move that he does, but it's not. It doesn't give you that feel like other grappler characters because it's quick. Usually, it's just like his big grapple is just a quick grapple, which usually your big grappler characters,
it's usually like a big slam.
It's usually like a big slam, big damage. Let me hit that twice and it's over. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But with him, it's more he kind of has that grapple, but it doesn't do as much damage.
And it's more to set up other things.
But it's more to set up other things, and with him, you get big damage off of combos. Mm-hmm. So you get in close because his range isn't that great, but once you get in close, he does big damage. So he still does have those nuances of grapplers. He just doesn't feel like a grappler, but I like him still, and he does give me the fact that I don't have to do a whole lot of moves to get big damage. So I appreciate that from him.
Character I play the most, that I get the most value out of is Vanguard, of course. Yes, I'm a Vanguard main. I like the range, obviously. The range is where he thrives.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's plays the range game very well. You can, he's very anti-air as well. You can do good. I have some pretty good setups, good combos with him as well. Love Vanguard, and he's like the range is very deceiving because you know it's good, but sometimes it still catches you because it's like really good stuff in some instances. So
I think they could dial it back a little bit. Some of the hitboxes.
Nah, it's perfect. If he didn't have that, then he would be a regular character in a game of broken characters. It's the one thing he has that's like. This is why you can say he's stupid, overpowered, which everyone is. It's his overpoweredness. Like he can hit you from ranges that, especially if you're the grappler, you can't hit him.
Mm-hmm. He's one of Grappler's worst matchups. I think if not the worst matchup. I used to think that Launcher was his worst matchup, but I think Vanguard is his worst matchup. Because of the range. Because with Grappler, the trick to beating Grappler is to down hit him. You will negate a lot of what Grappler does just by hitting him low, and Vanguard can hit him low from across the screen. So that's where I feel like Vanguard is his worst matchup, because with Launcher and all the projectiles, you can get through it.
And there are other characters that have projectiles and guns and stuff like that you can they can keep him out, but yeah, like you said, he can get through them. He can get to his target, but yeah, Vanguard's great. I also like Ghostblade. I read a lot of people are starting to like Ghostblade, but Ghostblade, he's good, but the things that make him good, of course, is like he does like a lot of moves that does like a lot of screen clutter. You can't really like
tell what's going on,
what's really happening.
Yep, that's what every time I find him, I'm like, I'm just gonna hold block until I can see my character.
Yeah, it's kind of overwhelming at times, and his combos are more juggles versus like long combos. So where he thrives is getting your juggles on, knocking the characters up, keeping your damage going, things like that. So he thrives there, and he was my first character I started playing, but a lot of people started to gravitate toward him. I'm like, I don't want to play the same character that everyone else plays.
Exactly.
I started playing Vanguard, and I actually like Vanguard a lot better. He's easier to play with. You get more value for little with him, with Vanguard. With Ghostblade, to get your value, you have to keep your combos going through juggles, because just on the ground, you're not going to get too long of a combo or too damaging of a combo. And pop backups too as well, with knockups. That's where he shines. But yeah, those are my two characters that I play. And I mean, there's this, with a game like how it is, there's so much different characters that are, suited to anyone's playstyle. Another character that I thought about picking up, just because of how broken she is Fighter or Brawler or Striker.
She's one of the best characters, I think, because
she's very easy to play with. Like I picked her up just green with her, and I was doing long combos with her. I was like, it's so easy. Like she's so easy mode.
I've been trying to learn Enchantress, but it's a process with her. Everybody's saying she could definitely be one of the top tiers, but right, like, people just don't know how to play with her, and I definitely feel that's the case. And even when I've seen people play with her, like high level people play with her, I'm like, I don't know.
Is that the most value you can get out of her?
Yeah, I'm trying to see if it's fully worth it. But I mean, she got some utility. I've seen some pretty interesting stuff, but
Inquisitor was another one I think I'm picking up too as well. Just because that wheel is just one of the most broken things I think in the game.
Yep, I mean, there's ways to get around it now, and it's not as broken as people initially thought. But I've fought some.
You can do some chip damage with it, and it's not. It's like if it hits you pretty forward, you try to roll and you're still getting it because it's that big. It's stupid. But and you can throw them back to back.
I fought a good Inquisitor that where she was getting a lot of damage was from her jumping spin move, because you could do the wheel into the jumping spin move.
Yeah.
And I think because it's a jumping move, it's an overhead, so you got to be careful how you're blocking the wheel.
Yeah, maybe I'll pick up Inquisitor next. But yeah, solid game all around. those of you that haven't checked it out, definitely do so. I would highly recommend it. It's definitely, I think, on track to probably getting Fighting Game of the Year.
Yeah. Actually, it was
until
Multiverses.
Yeah, which is another game that we've been playing. And probably, yeah, you're right.
The reason I kind of stopped playing DNF was because of Multiverses, which I literally played this morning. So.
I haven't touched Multiverses in a little while, a couple of days. Or DNF, actually, now I think about it. But Multiverse is another game that came out fairly recently, and it's been getting a lot of buzz.
Lots of buzz.
People are digging it. It's definitely getting a lot more buzz than the Nickelodeon All Stars did.
100%.
Like, it's such a shame because both games do get confused. People confuse both games a lot because both games, have characters that are from the cartoons more or less.
Yeah.
But Multiverses is solid.
I think it literally buried Nickelodeon Brawl Stars.
100%.
Oh, Nickelodeon All Star Brawl. I think I keep calling it Brawl Stars, but it's Nickelodeon All Star Brawl. I think it's the real name of the game. It doesn't even matter at this point because no one's gonna even touch that game.
I mean, we have it here, so if you want to play it, we have it. But
it pales in comparison to Multiverses.
Multiverses is a more polished game. Like everywhere, like the Nickelodeon one, like, it was very floaty, and the moves didn't really feel like they actually connected.
And it's
very weird.
It was very strange how, like everything didn't really feel grounded. Like it felt like
you didn't really feel any impacts. Like I don't know,
that too, and it just kind of felt like a cheap game. Just being real frank, I mean. Because
what gave that game any kind of saving grace is, of course, the potential for what the cast could be, right?
Yes.
Because you have the SpongeBob's and all of that in your Nickelodeon game, which are characters that people love. You have Ninja Turtles in there and all that, which is great. However, a game like Multiverses
has a better cast, and since Multiverses had the voice acting in it, then. The Nickelodeon went back and added their voices afterwards, which I can't imagine they actually put the game out without voices to begin with. That was just a bad idea.
Terrible idea. But now with Multiverses, with the voice acting, it has like the actual voice actors for a lot of the voice that you would recognize. You know what I mean? Which is one of the little details of the game that makes it pretty cool. And then of course the gameplay. The gameplay is pretty fun.
Gameplay's pretty solid.
I mean, it plays more like Brawlhalla than it does Smash Brothers. But that being said, it's like I still feel like there's room for both Smash Brothers and this, and even Brawlhalla, because Brawlhalla is pretty big here at the launch too as well. But Multiverses could definitely make its claim to be one of those games that's played a lot here.
Yep. I mean, I think the game is I thought DNF Duel was gonna win Game of the Year, but seeing as how this Multiverse came out the same year, it's gonna be tough. Because I actually I saw a post where some people were saying Multiverse is the top played fighting game right now, beating out Guilty Gear, beating out DNF Duel. I think it was on Steam. On Steam it was the top played fighting.
Yeah.
And again, you know how come? Because it's a free to play game.
There you go.
DNF Duel you have to buy. Nickelodeon Brawl Stars you have to buy.
Yep. Multiverse is free to play.
Free to play. They did it right. But these free to play games are getting they're very smart in how they market their free to play now though. I don't know if you notice, but I realized Overwatch is doing the same thing. And I first started with Overwatch 2, and now I saw it with Multiverses, where the game is free to play, but before the game comes out, they put out like a founder's pack.
Oh, like a bundle, yeah.
A bundle that comes with the game, comes with all that stuff. But there's nowhere in the the gaming market where you can download the game. That would be the only spot. So if somebody does a search for that game, that's the only thing they're gonna find. They're not gonna find the free download until the game comes out. So if you're of the mindset of let me download this game ahead of time, and you do the search, that's what you're gonna find. $30, $50 and $100, like different packages, Because I noticed that for like right now you can go on for Overwatch 2 and you could get those founders pack, but you can't pre-install Overwatch 2. And right before, like literally the day before Multiverses came out, I had people in the chat that was asking me like, how do you play Multiverses? I thought it was free to play. It's saying $30 in the PlayStation Store.
Yeah, I wonder, is it just a PlayStation thing or because?
No, I think Xbox does it too.
The same way. Mm-hmm. So I know you can pre-install games for Xbox, but for Game Pass. But I think it's where and that's something that maybe Xbox could probably do a little bit better. I would say between the Game Pass stuff and the free to play stuff, it's actually two
different
games to go. It's like two separate areas.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you're looking for a game like I thought the game was free to play, and you can't find it in the Game Pass
in the Game Pass section because it's actually free to play.
Yeah. Free to play,
Well, yep. I noticed that too.
But I mean, it is what it is. Just gotta do a little more digging. But
because like for the casuals that don't really pay that much attention, they'll get caught. They'll get caught every time. But this game's coming out. Oh, I thought it was free to play. Oh, $30. Okay, I'll buy it. If you just waited one more day,
save yourself $30. But
but you do get. It's not like you're not getting nothing for that money. You are getting.
Like for game like again, a game like Brawl that's free to play. You can purchase the bundle that gets you all the characters.
Yeah.
So you'll always have all the characters, kind of a thing. So versus someone that have to unlock each one or whatever the case is. So
Exactly.
little things like that, and for multiverses, they keep it cosmetic. So the things that you can spend money on are all cosmetic stuff for the most part.
They said all the characters are going to be free as well.
Be able to unlock them, just by playing the game. So just play the game, you'll get all the characters. Is kind of how they're pushing it. So
which is great. But I heard where the game is really going to blow up is when they start putting out physical copies. Because it's huge right now, but once they start putting out physical copies and people are seeing it, a lot of the casuals, a lot of the parents that wants to buy their child a game, they're not aware that it's a free game because Fortnite does this all the time. You go in any store and there's going to be Fortnite for sale, which is crazy, but
parents are coming there. Oh, Fortnite.
Yep, my kid will love this, and they'll just pick it up.
Kid probably already plays Fortnite, but now they got
extra stuff. So
it's a way for free to play games to get their
get
their money.
You gotta figure it out. Kind of like us at the lounge here, we always figure it out. Like there's so many things that we thought would still be going on right now. That's maybe not so much going on, but we're always diversifying.
Yep,
we're always looking for the next thing.
The train continues to move. You either get on it, stay on it, or get out of the way.
And it's like if we put all our eggs in like
one basket,
just one avenue of income for the lounge, I don't even know the lounge will still be open, to be honest with you.
Yep.
But because
if you think about the first iteration of the lounge, if we just
if we were
stick with that,
with that model, I don't think the lounge would not be around right now.
Gotta adapt. And I'm glad we did. And it's not even major things. Sometimes it's just little pivots. Like, let's just do a little bit of this. And then that little thing
opens up
turns out to be a whole new thing. Which they do another little pivot to a whole other new thing. It's like, it's great. It's how growing is done. Can't stay the same. You gotta evolve, adapt, overcome.
Yep.
But yeah, multiverses, definitely worth checking out. Anyone that's into the, platform fighters or if you just want a new experience, because for someone like me that's, I played Smash Brothers, but I wasn't, great at Smash. I never considered myself great at Smash. Played it more since the lounge, but not great. So I was not really into like platform, fighters.
Fighting, yeah.
Multiverses, I would say, yeah, I can handle myself in multiverses.
I like multiverse.
Characters I love, of course, we did it for DNF. Right now, my two mains are Bugs Bunny and Superman. Two characters that play completely different, but both are great. And Bugs, to me, is the most fun I've had playing that game is playing with Bugs Bunny. Just the hijinks and all the funny stuff that he can do. I entertain myself playing with Bugs Bunny. Some of the dumb stuff you can do. And I managed to see, what a top tier Bugs Bunny looks like. So hard to deal with. I seen like some real top plays with Bugs Bunny. It's like, oof. I want to get on that level. It's just little things, but there's a lot of mechanical things that he can do that can just make him super hard to deal with. That I gotta keep working on.
Mm-hmm.
They're great, but Superman's fun too. He plays like Superman. He can punch you really hard, and he can continue to punch you, and he can fly around, and he can punch you.
So what do you want?
It's Superman. He can fly and he can punch really hard. It's great. Feels good.
Yeah, I play with Finn from Adventure Time. I think he is definitely a top tier character. A lot of people are saying that he's good right now, but I think as the game goes on, people are gonna realize that he's probably, if not one of the best characters, if not the best, one of the best characters in the game.
Definitely hard to deal with.
Yeah, he has a lot of, because he can. It's the first time I've seen. I think he might be the only character in the game, one of the only characters in the game that could charge moves and still move, which is such a game changer. It's like you could just, my thing to do is like charge the up attack, and hit with that, because it's such a nice combo starter, and you don't have to press it. So I'm not pressing it when I get to you. I've already pressed it, so I just have to release it when I get to you. You know what I mean? So it changes the timing on certain things. And he can do that with literally all his moves. You can do that with his up smash, I guess you can call it, up attack. You can do it with his down attack. You can do it with his side attack. You can do it with his neutral attack. So it's just that just changes, the way he plays. And a lot of people, I put you on some game here, but a lot of people don't realize that you could use a stick to do your attacks. That's how you play with Finn. Literally that right there is how you, because to do it, if you can try to imagine trying to charge your up attack and still walk in, virtually impossible. You just have to hold one stick up and hold the next stick forward. And you hold one stick up and you can go wherever you want to go. And you can just it makes it so easy, and it's so enjoyable to play with. It's man, this is you wouldn't be able to do this any other way. And I'm like, this is perfect. This is perfect. I'm glad this is in the game. But there's so many characters that are, people are getting a lot of enjoyment out of. Velma seems to be top tier.
Velma's pretty broken.
Taz
is broken. They nerfed him, but he still wasn't nerfed enough.
But because there's, the little perks and stuff you can add to your characters. There's stuff for knockback as well on there.
There you go.
If you play with Taz, you just have to do that.
You have to.
And then now he's I feel like whatever they nerfed,
that will fix.
That will fix. You know what I mean?
Make him still broken.
Make him still broken.
Which maybe I should play Taz.
I actually when I noticed that, I was like, maybe I should play Taz just for that same reason. Cause
Bugs and Taz would be a good duo.
There you go.
But Bugs, the mallet and the bat is life. And the drop kick that he does.
Yeah, the drop. I've fought some good Bugs, and that
drop kick is
so annoying.
Because you can kind of you can charge it a move, but not really. But because it's an aerial move.
It's an aerial, yes.
So
whilst you're charging, you can still move in the air.
You can kind of find your time and just release it and just send guys. And I like that, the Acme rocket thing too. Such a good move.
It's a nice setup. It has a lot of utilities.
You can do a lot of cool stuff with it.
It kind of reminds me of Villager in a sense, but better.
Because you can use it to recover, and while you're on recovery, you can be go in your box, grab stuff. You can just
It's like a moving platform that hits.
Yeah,
which is,
and it doesn't go super fast, so it's not just set on his gun. It goes fairly slow, so you can get out of the way, or you can get hit by it. Or you can use the setup, if you do it. Doing it up is one of the ways I have to use it more often, especially for recovering, because now someone can't spike you. They try to spike you, they're getting hit by the rocket, and usually when it hits you the direction that it's pointing.
There you go.
So even if it's what I've seen is some combos where the rocket will be right just about to go off the screen, and you hit somebody into it, they're dead, because the rocket's gonna just
do the rest.
So putting it in the air and hitting people into it is how you use that. That's
right there. The way to go.
Or even if it's off stage and hit someone into it, it sends them the direction it's facing. So that's what I have to work on with Bugs, is getting the timing to get people to hit that. And of course the safe, which is another great thing about Bugs, is even though the game has items, you can put items on the game, but Bugs always have items on because of the safe. He can dig in the safe, he can pull the safe and break it, get an item, or he can dig in his box to get items. So Bugs items are always on for Bugs.
Yep. And I realized the items that he has is Adams. It's not just Adams from his game. Yeah,
it's Adams from the game itself.
From the game. Yep.
So, pretty dope game. Definitely worth checking out. Like I said before, and if you want to play it, don't have means to, you can come here and play it. Check it out the lounge. There's always someone to play against too as well.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's us or one of the usuals, one of our members. It's good times. There's a lot of fun that comes from playing multiverses and Smash Brothers as well.
Mm-hmm.
Here at the lounge. So
Smash is still our number one played game here.
Smash is still the number one played game here. I thought Fortnite was for a while, but
it's definitely Smash.
It's 100% Smash. Anywho.
Yep.
Also, this week, as far as things watched, Marvel's been San Diego Comic-Con just happened, which is the biggest Comic-Con globally.
Mm-hmm.
Just happened, and a lot of new releases, new dates,
a lot of new updates. Yep.
Cool things there happening in that space. But you don't want to spend a ton of time out. We'll probably dive into it more so in our next episode. But just some of the things that stood out to me right off the bat, and everyone's talking about, of course, is the Wakanda trailer, Wakanda Forever trailer.
Yep.
I mean,
what needs to be said? The trailer is award winning in my opinion.
The trailer alone was so well done. It sets up the movie.
Yep.
Like there's no way this movie isn't great.
The
trailer just sets the tone.
Yep.
It's one of the best trailers I've ever watched.
100%.
Like I've seen it multiple times, and the only Marvel trailer that I watched a lot was Avengers Endgame when it first started, dropping their first trailers.
Yep.
I watched those trailers like over and over again, and I've already watched the Black Panther trailer a few times now. It's so good.
That trailer is fire.
It was trailer, and I've watched many breakdowns of the trailer as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it sets the tone for the entire movie, and you can tell the movie's gonna be an emotional ride.
Yep. Bring your Kleenex.
Bring your Kleenex for this movie, because it's not only gonna be paying tribute to the actual actor,
Chadwick Boseman, but the character of Black Panther and that whole the whole lore of that whole area. Yeah, paying homage to African culture and all that stuff. This interesting about Black Panther and how big that franchise is. It's like Wakanda's not even a real place. Nope.
But in this culture, in this day and age, people refer to it as a real place. Like I guarantee you, there's people in the world that don't know that Wakanda is not a real place. It's not a real place.
Yeah, not a real country.
Not a real country. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's so interesting that a place that we knew growing up. Mm-hmm. Very few people knew about it, of it, but now it's mainstream. Like people say Wakanda Forever, like it's like whatever. Mm-hmm. It's just a thing now. And
it's just a thing, yep.
And it's like a fictional place that a few years ago the majority of people didn't even know existed.
100%. And what I really appreciate about it is that I feel Black Panther and the whole concept of Black Panther and what they did with the first movie did so much for Black culture on a whole. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's been well talked about for on multiple different platforms by now, but I go back to it because it's like it's representation that it's in its truest form. Because it's the kind of representation that makes people want to be that. You know what I mean? Like for the longest time, the American culture and everything. Everybody wants to have that American culture. You already know what your main action star, Hollywood movie star should be, and what they should look like and all that stuff. And I think what they did with the first movie kind of put all that on its head, and what a superhero should look like, or what you come to expect with certain things. Like when you think about like Africa or whatever, you think of poor and poverty and all that kind of stuff, like animals, dirty, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. And it just turns all that on its head, so much so that people want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People that are maybe not African or maybe not black. Like, oh man, I want to be part of that. You know what I mean? And I think every culture should at least experience that in some way, shape, or form. I mean, it's the movies that are trying it, but not to that, not that, because Disney does they do a lot of the Samoan Islands with Moana and stuff like that, and you get to appreciate the culture, but you don't necessarily want to be a part of it, or like like Black Panther people, like
everyone wanted to be.
Everyone wants to.
Everyone wanted to be black.
Everybody wants to be black.
It was cool to be black. Finally.
Not just black, but cool to be African.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's still, I'm sure that there's a lot of people that migrate from Africa that come here that probably still wear African clothes and stuff like that and get made fun of and stuff like that.
But for a while, and like nowadays, it's
cool. Nowadays it's cool. You could there's people that sometimes come here in African hats and stuff like that. You see people walking the streets in African clothes, and it's cool. Perfectly fine. People we have now found a way to make it cool to look to dress like that, to look like, and it's now acceptable. And I think it's all because of those movies. Like before, people if I wear like a dashiki now, whatever, I wouldn't know how to wear it where it would look cool and not feel awkward wearing. You know what I mean? And that's something I find that Wakanda has done, and now with this movie, now with the new movie, it continues to do. Because you look at Wakanda, you look at even the regular people walking around and stuff, they were still wearing what you would think, they were still wearing what you would think an African would wear.
But it just looks cool.
It just looks cool.
It's like the dopest thing.
It's like it's kind of like what people have been trying to accomplish for a long time, and it's amazing how it was accomplished with just one movie. Because a lot of it people think would take years to accomplish. If you look back to Marcus Garvey and going back to Africa movement and all that kind of stuff, that's kind of what they were trying to accomplish, to make being African cool, make it a norm, and making it
for people that would want to be a part of it.
Exactly, like not be ashamed of, I think, is what they were more going for. But now it's actually it's surpassed that now. It's not only not ashamed of, but it's actually cool, and it's actually desirable. So that's definitely one great thing about those movies, and that's why honestly, it's so unfortunate that he died so soon, because they could keep making those movies, and it literally doesn't matter what the plot, what's going on in the movie. As long as they keep the right team together, it will always be. Yep. It will always be a cash cow.
Black Panther. I mean, it still could be. Now you think about it,
but they definitely still will try to cash it. But I feel like Chadwick Boseman should have.
He should have continued to continue that ride so that Black Panther would be as big as Spider-Man.
Yes.
At some point.
So, but I think with this movie, I think they're still gonna try to make Black Panther a thing. Still gonna try to keep the legacy going, and 100% they can. It doesn't matter what. Again, it still has the same effect. Like, it doesn't matter what the story is and all that kind of stuff. But I just wish it was Chadwick. I wish he got to reap the benefits of it, because he had a lot to do with it. I mean, the producers and everything. They get a lot of credit, but I think Chadwick deserves a lot of credit too with his portrayal and how he depicted the characters, and kind of more so his natural charisma and how he portrayed the character. It wasn't corny at all.
Nope.
You know what I mean? He wasn't
corny. He wasn't overly.
He wasn't over the top.
Yeah.
But you look at him and you respect him, and you're like, okay, that's a king.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's the point I was going to make earlier. And I'm glad you said that. Because before, like you said, when that representation of Africa before, the whole slave side of things, the whole poverty side of things. Now you're looking at a character that's royalty, but still a hero.
Yep.
Versus your hero coming from humble beginnings, kind of a thing. This is royalty, but he's coming out to
defend his people. He's leading from the front.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's such a still dope.
It's one of the things that actually started to. It's one of the few things in this day and age that unites Black people. One of the positive things, anyway, because there's a lot of negative things that unite us, but it's one of the few positive things that actually united the culture.
And I just can't wait. I can't wait for the movie. It can literally do no wrong. I honestly, usually we kind of catch movies on the on the Sundays, because with the lounge and everything. But it's probably one of the movies I might want to see day of. I kind of want to see it, and
it's gonna be an event.
I might re-up our advertising when that comes up.
Yeah,
makes sense. In November, so we'll skip August and October, and we'll do November. Maybe, or we just keep it going. But yeah, definitely should do it. We should have advertising in the movies at that time for sure.
Looking forward to that for sure. But yeah, also of course, as you know, this week we missed a couple of UFC events at this point.
We missed a couple of UFC events
and a lot of major things, but don't think we're gonna go back to rehash all of those.
We're not gonna go back to rehash. That being said, we're gonna kick it off straight into some fight talk. We're just gonna cover this last card.
Mm-hmm.
So many good things that we've missed, but as stories come up, we'll kind of cover them. And by now, I mean, if you're fight fans, you already know a lot of this.
You're already on the up and up.
Mm-hmm. It's just more so to get our takes on these things, and of course, the last card.
Last card did not disappoint.
Did not disappoint.
I mean, even from the prelims, and there was one fight cancellation that I wanted to see, but that's Bahamunez. He was supposed to fight.
That's right.
That fight got cancelled, but hopefully it gets rescheduled. But however, even on the prelims, like there were some fights there that stood out. Some individuals there that I wanted to see fight that did fight. Starting off, of course, with
Blood Diamond.
Blood Diamond, which his real name is not Blood Diamond.
Just like Korean Zombie is not
Korean Zombie, but
I think it's a great name, and he has a great look.
Yeah,
he does know how to work it.
Doesn't know how to work his look. He speaking of the whole African thing, right? He could definitely play into that a lot.
100%. He is like
dropping the ball.
He's dropping the ball big time. That being said,
not just in his presentation, but also in his fights.
Yes.
Well, I guess UFC's just not doing him any favors either, because he's fighting just straight up grapplers, huh? And that's just not his forte. He has a very awkward striking style that I think catches a lot of people off guard, but the UFC just been giving him grapple. Like he was 3-0 in MMA before coming to the UFC. He's now 3-2 in the UFC. Like
I think he's gonna get cut,
unfortunately, but maybe just not ready. He's just not on the level. It's
no, not in the grappling department anyway.
Definitely not.
But he has the look, and you want to see him do well, and I want to see him do great things.
His look, he has a name. He just needs to lean into that a little bit more.
Yes, he's a manager, a proper manager. Like I would have him like don't say anything to the media, nothing. You're just gonna be stoic, Blood Diamond. When you come out, you're coming out to African music, and you're walking nice and slow and stoic. People are gonna feel your presence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He has that about him, but instead he's playing. I forgot what he came out to, but it was more upbeat. He's dancing.
It was a Spanish Danza Crudo.
Mm-hmm. Not even a good song. An old song that's okay. It's been you've heard it once. You've heard it a million times now.
He's dancing. He's smiling. It's like, dude, you're Blood Diamond. Like your name is Blood Diamond. That's not what we want to see.
Exactly.
But maybe it's just an us thing.
Maybe we just wired that way.
But
I don't know.
I guess maybe it's our pro wrestling, fandom that are probably getting away with us there.
Maybe.
But that's whatever. I won't say much. But anyways, yeah, he fought Orion Corsi.
Kokasi. No, how's he pronounce him? Yeah, Kokasi.
Something. Yeah, definitely got out grappled for sure.
Mm-hmm. Out wrestled, out grappled. But I mean, he was landing.
He was landing because he finds a way with his awkward style to get his weapons to the target, but just wasn't enough, unfortunately. Had a pretty good light heavyweight fight.
Yeah, the Moreno.
Yeah, that guy. The guy to keep your eye on.
100%.
Because he's pretty he looked like he could even fight a heavyweight, but he's pretty solid guy, and he just scraps.
He hits hard too. He throws with everything, and he had some damaging knees, man. That was my favorite performance of the night.
Yep, he had some good strikes to the knees, like you said, but his grappling too would help get him in position to land those strikes. That's definitely a guy to keep your eye on. He's gonna be a problem.
Very interesting last name too. Yeah. I'm sure when the announcers pronounce it, they gotta be careful. Gotta make sure they say it in one breath. Can't pause in that name at all.
Can't pause. Let's see. Saying words you're not supposed to. But yeah, he finished with the second round TKO. And then another one, the only female fight on the card, but it was worth the watch for sure.
Not because of the performance, but
Jocelyn Edwards versus Ji Young Kim. Ji Young Kim is very scrappy. But for some reason, in this fight, she was just
very tentative,
avoiding it. Like Maybe she felt the power and she just didn't want any piece of it. She was kind of being tentative, running around and stuff. Mm-hmm. But Jocelyn's on a bit of a tear now. She's had a couple wins now.
Yeah, a couple wins now. I still think she could do more in the striking department. Like she
can clean up her striking for sure. Or her whole fight game. She's still fairly green, but she's 12-4. But she's well on her way, huh?
Mm-hmm. She's easy on the eyes too.
Very easy on the eyes. Well, overall package, face wise, could be. We're getting a little judgmental here. We can get canceled. Let's keep it professional. But yeah, she can definitely do no wrong in my book.
Yes.
Can't wait to see her next fight.
Yes.
And these are all in the early prelims for this is a lot of early prelims, but they were all pretty solid. Like usually we skip over them, but these are some good performances.
Yes.
Like Michael Morales as well.
Another guy to keep your eye on.
Another guy that you should definitely keep your eye on. This guy, he's 14-0. He's one of the youngest fighters on the UFC roster.
And he's just knocking people out.
His striking, it's interesting, but it's deadly. Like he hits hard, and he has a pretty decent physique too as well. He's not overly muscled, but you could see he does have some size on him. So
he kind of reminds me of John Jones in a sense, not necessarily the way he fights, but the way he, being a young, unorthodox striker that just knows how to land on the target. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like John Jones, when John Jones first came, he had that style where he was just, people didn't really know how to deal with him. They didn't know how to deal with him because he was just kind of not really awkward per se, but just had this unorthodox fighting that people just like at that time it wasn't that common. And I think he kind of brings that, and being very young as well. He's definitely on track to being something great.
Mm-hmm. He has a lot of fights too for being so young. Mm-hmm. He had 14-0, so. I can kind of skip over a couple of these. Yeah, Drew Dober, huh? Oof. Drew Dober is still doing the damn thing. I mean, he was always a guy that look forward to his fights, but as of late, he's been on a tear. Like getting guys like out of there, like out. And he's fighting a very dangerous Rafael Alves. And Rafael Alves was like, he came to fight. Alves was throwing some unique strikes, like some interesting kicks. He was throwing with a lot of heat too. But Dober just got him out of there. What do you hit him with? Was it a body shot?
Yeah, I think that one was the body shot, yeah.
Crippling body shot that just shuts your body off. Mm-hmm. Like, it's one of those shots where there's nothing you can do about it.
There's nothing you can do.
You can condition your stomach as much as you want, as much as you can. Once the right strike lands, like in your solar plexus, like in your liver area, it just shuts your body off. And ironically enough, there's another that happened again in this same card, which was great. Alex Moreno fought as well. That was a decent fight against Matthew Salzberger. I was more impressed with Salzberger in that fight because he was taking some damage. He definitely had a broken orbital. Still had the will to win. Albeit he didn't win, He obviously lost the fight, but
he didn't quit.
He didn't quit at all. Definitely gonna need some reconstructive.
I think those are the kind of fighters that Dana White likes. You know what I mean? You're probably not. You're not gonna win every fight, but
once you fight,
and you show that you understand. You're behind the scorecards, and you're like, okay, this is what I got to do to win, so I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of guys that they'll be behind and they're still just coasting, like,
whatever.
Let me just get out of here alive. You know what I mean? But
Salzberger was doing what he needed to do. Didn't get to. Oh, I didn't even realize this fight was supposed to be on this card. The Paulo Costa Luke Rockhold fight was supposed to be on this card.
It got moved too.
It got moved. But yeah, the Ankalaev versus Anthony Smith fight. I was rooting for Anthony Smith. I wanted him to win so bad, but he had a kick that was checked that obviously compromised his ankle, and he did not want to start after that at all. Started not even shoot. He couldn't even shoot on it. He's like with some compromise. He just wanted to pull guard, and he was trying his absolute best to pull guard, but unfortunately he was doing it against a Dagestani guy that could not only wrestle but punch your face off.
Yeah, they don't do American wrestling.
Yeah, that was more jiu-jitsu. Trying to pull guard, that's more of a jiu-jitsu move. But
but I mean Dagestanis don't do American wrestling. Dagestani style wrestling is hold you down to beat you up. It's not anything nice.
Not lay and pray kind of thing.
And I will say, because I also watch the Contender Series and stuff like that. I'm waiting. I'm hoping it hasn't really quite happened yet, but I need to see the mold of American wrestling broken. There's too many UFC fighters that are just wrestling, and it's not entertaining. And it's I get it. It's the way to win. It's a way to win. But it doesn't do anything for the fighter. It doesn't do anything for your stock. I mean, I get it. You know what I mean? There are some people that do it and they get to advantageous positions and they can finish the fight.
Mm-hmm.
But up until that point, it's not, the most fun thing to watch. Dagestani wrestling now is a completely different thing.
Mm-hmm.
They are beating you up the entire time. And it's entertaining the entire time. I want to see more people, if you're going to wrestle, do that style.
Yeah, it's more like a Sambo style.
Mm.
It's great.
That's kind of off topic, but as it comes up, I'll probably go more into that.
Yep. And then one of the best performances of the night, who actually won a bonus for the performance of the night, Alexandre Pantoja.
Pantoja versus Alex
Perez, which
this fight I was expected to be like a barn burner, back and forth, bloody drag him out fight, and it was not that. It was a one-sided beatdown.
Pantoja just came in, just walked right through him.
They
both stood right in front of each other, started throwing hands.
Pantoja
never took a back step. Started getting better of those exchanges, got him down, subbed him out.
Get him out of there.
Quick and easy in the first round. Like, made it look easy, huh? That's a guy that you're gonna have to definitely keep your eye on.
And the funny thing is, he beat Brandon Moreno and Kai Kara-France.
Mm-hmm.
And those guys were fighting for the belt later on in this card.
Yep. So look out for that guy, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Potential is there for him to be not just a champion, but a major star. If he keeps fighting like that, that's your next star in that division for sure. And then one of the most upsetting parts of the card, unfortunately, Derek Lewis against Pavovich. I mean, Pavovich was getting it from the time he came out. He's getting the booze and everything. And not because he getting to him.
Mm-hmm. Even from the weigh-ins, I could see it kind of getting to him.
Yeah, but he came to fight.
He definitely came to fight.
And once he saw that he landed, he went to finish the fight, and rightfully so. He was doing his job, definitely. Unfortunately, the referee jumped in there a little too early.
He did, but you can't blame him.
But yeah, you can't blame him because it's the way Derek Lewis went down.
Mm-hmm. He went down face forward, no hands to stop you. You know what I mean? That's
once a referee sees that, it's pretty much over.
He's not gonna let you stay there and take
one or two unanswered. But
but Derek Lewis was he did get knocked down, but he popped right back up. But
he was still there.
Literally, as he went down, the referee stopped it, and again, it's because of how he went down. It's not because of bad. It's not. I wouldn't call it being bad refereeing at all.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It was a mistake that happened, but it wasn't. The referee was doing his job.
Exactly, 100%.
Yeah, and he saw what he saw, and he was behind Derek Lewis as well too. So it's not he got a good look at his face or anything.
Yeah, you see a man fall face forward. Didn't put his hands on the block. He's out in your mind.
Yeah,
and you're gonna protect him. That's his job.
So another loss for Derek Lewis, but I don't think it takes anything away from his stock.
No, people still like him. People always like him.
And he himself said he doesn't care about wins, losses, belts, and all that. He just, when the UFC calls him to fight, he's going to come, he's going to fight. And this is a man with the most heavyweight knockouts, record and everything. So definitely heavy-handed. And he changed his camp this time around.
Mm-hmm.
You see he's having fun in training camp and so that. So he has a new resurgence, if you will. So I want to see that continue. I want to see him do great things because he's great for the sport.
He's great for the sport.
Win or lose, he's great for the sport. So, can't wait to see him fight again. Then one of the, fights that delivered on this card. The Brandon Moreno versus Kai Kara-France, which is the co-main for the interim flyweight title. And it was as advertised.
It was a great fight.
Brandon Moreno came out great. First round, you can see, he had that awkward style. They're doing a little bit of a feeling out, but you can see he started to get the better of him coming late to the round. You can say, okay, Brandon Moreno look like he wants to run away with this thing. Second round, a bit more of the same. Like Brandon Moreno started to get fight his timing.
Kara-France.
But yeah, Kara-France did land pretty heavy on him pretty often.
And cut him open pretty bad.
But Moreno still stayed composed, still doing his thing, you know, as he should. And then the third round, he started getting back on track, doing his thing, and then he just landed this body kick that just
shut him off.
Shut the body right off. Unfortunately for Kai Car-France, there was nothing he could do about that, other than maybe block that kick or get completely out of the way. Yeah. Which he was trying to get out of the way. Obviously, he was trying to avoid it, but the toe was just digged into the
right in the liver, and that's it.
That's it.
People don't realize it. You know, it's a temporary shut off, but it's still a shut off. And once you can't defend yourself, the referee's gonna stop it.
The referee's gonna stop it, and it's and rightfully so. So crucial body shot landed.
Two very bad liver shots landed in that one card. And that was great.
But again, with that, Brandon Moreno gets another belt. I'm happy for him.
Yep.
He's another one that I think is great for the sport.
He never should have lost his belt in the first, in my opinion. But
yep, never should have lost his belt. And the train continues.
Now you can say he's a 2-time champ.
There you go.
Not everybody gets to do it once. You even get to do it twice. So
he gets his belt. They brought Figueiredo in the cage and all that at the end. They were trying to get a whole heated thing, but Brandon Moreno just shut all that down, huh?
Yep, he showed class like
you don't usually see from UFC fighters, and you need to see more of that. And I think the sport is kind of making that turn. It started a little bit with Paddy Pimblett, a few weeks ago or last week. When in his pre-fight, it was more of a positive message versus him
post-fight.
Yeah, post-fight. It was more a positive message, and it was great. People loved it. And now Brandon Moreno, it was another one of those, great messages at the end of a fight. Like every once in a while you get those. I think Rose did it at one point too. And it's just showing that you don't have to be, the Conor McGregors or you don't have to be an asshole. At the end of fights or whatever. You can be positive. You can be a model, like a role model, and I like it. So, and don't get me wrong, I do like both sides.
Yes.
You do need to,
You do need your faces and you do need your heels.
100%. And even Chandler had a good one too as well. His was kind of a combination. So there's ways you can do it. We just got to find out which way fits your personality and do it. But that great message. Even though they brought Figueiredo in his face and everything, he's like, I'm going to be an example for my daughter, my daughters and everything. So, don't get me wrong. I want to fight you, but I'm not going to, embarrass myself to
get the fight. Yeah. Which was very
classy.
It was very, very, very classy. Even you can see Figueiredo was taken back from it too. Like
Figueiredo was because he was coming in all.
He was coming in hot.
That just diffused him right back.
Diffused him.
He just this
is a great guy. Like, again, he shook
his hand. Showed a different side of Figueiredo.
He looked completely different. All the walls came down. And hats off to Brandon Moreno for doing that, because that's
the world needs a little more of that.
The world needs more of that.
It's great. And then another great fight to cap off the night, which again this card was just great from top to bottom. Fight that ended the night, of course, was your main event.
Juliana Pena versus Amanda Nunez.
Yep.
The rematch, because everybody felt, myself included, that Pena winning was a fluke.
Bit of a fluke.
I mean, I hate to say it like that because
she did what
she earned it.
She earned it.
You know what I mean? People saying it's a fluke is a little disrespectful.
She earned it.
She definitely earned it. You know what I mean? She did what she was supposed to do when she came in there, and Amanda didn't take her seriously, and she paid for it.
She paid the price. Lost her belt. Thought about quitting. She said, "Nah, I'm the GOAT. Like, why would I quit? I can beat her." So said, so done.
Oh, she came back and she did just that.
She came back like a force to be reckoned with, huh?
Yeah, I mean, and that being said, it still was a very competitive fight.
It was competitive because the thing about Juliana, she did not get discouraged a lick.
Nope.
She fought the entire fight.
There was no, I'm defeated, let me survive. No, she was fighting the entire fight. Now, to her own detriment, because she was getting cracked.
She was getting blasted. Like, punches were taking her off her feet. Like, it was looking pretty bad. And Nunez could finish her at any one of those points, but she opted not to. And at first I was like, what is she doing? Like, but she said it in her post-fight interview. Like, she just wanted to show her that she could beat her for 5 rounds everywhere. She took her time with her. Like, she was literally a cat playing with her food. And you kind of saw that she was smiling throughout the entire fight. Nunez was just having a blast. Even with the submission attempts, she was just like smiling through them because she was really in any like major danger.
Mm.
She defended all the submission attempts
All
very
the
well.
armbar. And Juliana started to get nasty. She started
Putting her fingers in the glove just to keep her hand in there, but.
And I heard when Amanda was trying to get the choke at one point, she was like trying to bite her and stuff like that.
Mm.
I haven't gone back to see the footage, but I did hear that. I was like, wow. But I said, hey, if you're not
cheating, you and trying.
Yeah, and Juliana was there to win. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Hats off to her. Like
call it what you want. You know.
She did not, and I just want to. Even though she lost, she did earn my respect in that regard.
100%.
Because most girls, when they fight Nunez, a couple of those punches and like
they want to get. They want out.
Even if you wanted to fight them 5 rounds, they won't allow you to. They would shut up and get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Juliana did not do that at all. She continued to fight through the entire fight.
She definitely earned my respect.
For sure.
Yeah.
100% she earned my respect. But Nunez also showed that she is the GOAT in female fighting.
100%. Cannot be denied now.
It 100% can't be denied now. Like you got to give her her due.
I would like. I always felt, in my opinion, Cyborg is the GOAT, but she's beat Cyborg. And everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Every major female star there is to you know, if there was a Mount Rushmore of female fighters, Amanda Nunez beat all of them.
100%. She's beat Holly Holmes. She's beat Ronda. She's beat Cyborg. She's beat Miesha Tate. To me, as far as Mount Rushmore goes, those would be the 4 besides. Well, actually, even Valentina.
Yep.
Valentina, you can put.
You put Valentina there. She beat Valentina. I want to say she beat Gina Carano too. You know. I know they were both in Bellator at the same time.
So it's quite possible.
Not Bellator, Strikeforce at the time. Strikeforce at the time.
Same thing.
So I want to say Amanda Nunez has beaten Gina Carano, but if so, then it's 100% true.
She's the GOAT. She's beaten everybody. Literally every female fighter that ever became somewhat remotely powerful, with the exception of Rose and Juliana, but because they're way smaller.
Yeah.
So we know what that go like. So everyone in those 2 divisions, which she holds the belts for both, she has cleaned up. There's not even a 145-pound division. It's not even much of a division there. It's just nothing. Now, there are some 145-pound fighters still in the UFC, or even some 35ers that could,
No, she didn't fight. She didn't get to fight.
That could go up, but...
She does have a loss to Kat Zingano, though.
You think I can beat her now?
Absolutely not.
But, and honestly, I think this would be the best fight for her to ride out the sunset with.
I thought it was perfect.
Even how she was leaving the cage,
It was like a movie.
It was if you were gonna do a Amanda Nunez documentary, now's the time to do it, and it would end right here.
100%.
The only thing she can do now is just continue to stretch her records. But other than that, she's
done it.
There's nothing left to do.
She has done it.
There's nothing left to do, and nothing left for Amanda to do. She's done everything that she possibly could. Because there's not gonna be another big female star that's gonna be on a come up that she's gonna fight. It's gonna be bigger than anybody she hasn't fought already.
Exactly.
So she's even retiring people. Like what's her name? That pale chick with all the tattoos. She retired. I don't even remember her name.
Megan Anderson.
Yeah, she retired.
Megan Anderson retired. Jeez.
And who was her last fight? Amanda Nunez. She probably realized
this is the top.
And they say it for me anymore. I think she streams on Twitch or something like that. No.
Interesting.
Yeah, I read that somewhere. But probably check that out. But yeah, great UFC card. I mean, and as we start doing these, we're gonna start again because now they're gonna be Thursday releases. They're gonna be more of setting up the weekend type cards. This one coming up is not a really big one, so I wouldn't want to. I mean, we could do it on this one, or we could just save it until next Thursday when we start rolling those out. Changing the format of Fight Talk a little bit to more of a weekend, setting you up for the weekend type thing. So, but we definitely had to cover that card, so we didn't want to not cover that card. So
100%.
But there's a big main event coming up this week, and with Thiago Santos and Jamal Hill, which Jamal Hill has been on a bit of a tear lately, knocking out everybody.
Yep.
Got those hands. He's 10-1, so he's definitely on his way up. And Thiago's been kind of falling off a little bit, even though he is the ace head on this.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is the coming out party for Jamal Hill. We'll see what happens. Also in your co-main event, you have Vicente Luque and Jeff Neal. Looking forward to seeing that. And this is the card that's going to have all the Ultimate Fighter.
Ultimate Fighter is going to be determined. I bought the Ultimate Fighter, so that's going to be interesting. I like to see how some of those fights culminate.
Yep. Oh, Ariane Lipski is fighting.
Lipski's going to fight, yeah. Sam Alvey is still fighting.
Sam Alvey is fighting. He's a...
But they just keep giving him these bad fights. Like, I can't even pronounce his last name, but this is a Polish guy, and I remember him. He's no joke.
Yep, he's 16-5. Alvey's better come to. Alvey needs to get in a real camp. I think that's his problem.
100%.
If he gets into a real camp, he could be a problem because he has good hands.
Anyhow, we already know how that's going to play out.
Yep.
Terrence
McKinney's fighting. Brian Battler is fighting as well.
Mm-hmm. From the previous season of The Ultimate Fighter.
That's going to be cool.
Jason Witt.
It's going to be, it's a decent card. Decent card. Oh, Mara Bueno Silva is fighting.
Bueno Silva, yep.
She's always much watch TV, so yeah.
I'm still upset with Luque, though. Luque should have never lost to, what's his name? Remember the name? Bilal
Muhammad, yeah.
That was supposed to be Luque's...
I'm not going anywhere fight.
That was supposed to be his coming out fight.
Mm-hmm.
And he lost that fight. I'm so upset with him for that. Because Luque is a problem. People don't know it, but Luque is...
a problem in that division.
I feel he could, like... If I was to say who in the division I think could give Kamaru the best fight, I think it's Luque. My personal opinion.
And he's working his way to get there, but he just lost that fight.
You can't lose. You can't have losses, man.
Not against Bilal Muhammad. I mean, not saying Bilal Muhammad isn't a good fighter. But he's not, like, must-watch TV right now.
He's not.
But
he thinks he is, but he's not.
We'll see. We'll see how that division shapes up. But Terrence McKinney is also fighting on that card as well. Looking forward to that. So, yeah, that's this weekend. Of course, we're going to watch it. We're going to bring it back to you. And if you're looking for a place to watch fights, stop by the lounge. We always do our UFC watch parties. Which are always fun. We got snacks and drinks on sale, all that good stuff. So, and there's a bar pretty close by. So if you want to get some real food, you can get some real food. So yeah, all that good stuff. Best place to watch UFC is at the lounge. Which we were thinking about doing a sign. We can't advertise that UFC watch parties, which maybe we should sooner rather than later. But yeah, because now the way the lounge is set up, we can do some really nice. We can do some really nice watch parties if you like,
Yeah.
We can set it up really cool. So
actually, yeah,
we can. Yeah, you know what I mean.
We should actually start doing that. Like, I mean, because you know how UFC starts, we kind of things into it, but yeah, but it's instead of like making it a thing and just have it like we'll discuss that after. Okay. All right,
but yeah, with that brings us to the end of another great episode. We thank you guys for continuing to tune in, continue to stay with us, rock with us. And we continue to bring you guys what you love. This is all this nerd content, all this machismo, fight talk, all that good stuff. So with that, you guys, continue to be good to each other. Continue to stay safe out there. IsaacBoyz out.
Peace.